How'd you feel about the week of practice and focus this week in the building?
Same as it's been for the last, 10 weeks or so, whatever it is. It's been good. Guys have been on it. Good concentration, details in practice and walkthrough, good stuff to coach off of. And today we'll finish up with a little Fast Friday, tomorrow walkthrough.
Get that feeling of the normalcy, like it is just another week for the guys?
100%. Yeah, I do. I think that they understand what's at stake without having to go and say, oh, this could be our last practice. This could be our last walkthrough. Or, you go through those comments or thought processes, just not where we're at. So just keep going through the week, and that's what it's kind of been same as.
I know in the hunt there was a video, or part of it last night, where you said you never mentioned the word Super Bowl. You really didn't mention the word playoffs, as you told us too. So now this week, how do you balance that finality of playoff games with the 1-0 mentality?
Yeah, I think that's just a result that will come on Sunday that we'll have to figure out what it is. I mean, you don't put yourself there at all. I have not put myself there at all, personally, is you just keep trying to do what you've been doing to the best of your ability, and then let the results be what they may, and go play your asses off on Sunday and for 60 minutes and see what the heck happens. So it's just the way that this game works, the way that you have to stay so singularly focused on your job, your execution, your responsibilities, your details, the game plan, knowing your opponent to the best of your ability, and then go play. Because you let anything else get into your mind, it just starts to cloud it, and you start to think about things that really don't matter.
When you call in a play to Trevor and say, like, wristband 23, what does that allow you to add to him, check-wise and stuff?
Yeah, any reminders on the play, or different things to think about for that specific play or situation, more so based, like, all right, hey, you got 4 downs here, being smart, right? Or whatever it is. It just kind of allows you to throw a couple pointers into them. I haven't really had to give them too much, to be honest with you, outside of the preparation that we have and go through the process. Or if something's coming in that's not in the game plan, that's just being called, you may want to give them a little heads up as to what you're thinking quickly, if you have time. But for the most part, that work is all done previous to, right? Like when you go through the game plan, when he and I and Grant and Spence go through the call sheet tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon and go through it, what we're thinking, what are going to be our first third down calls, short yardage, red zone. When we get to this area of the field, what are we thinking? You try to stick to those thought processes, because that's what he's now anticipating, unless things completely have changed based on how they play and what they're doing in the game. And so you try to keep it as rhythmic as possible, but the wristband at times does allow you to give a couple more coaching points.
Saturday meeting.
Say again?
How long is that Saturday meeting?
They will start a call sheet meeting Saturday morning. They'll probably go for about an hour, and then we go again before Mass and Chapel. Usually starts for about another hour or so, where we're just going through priority calls. Here's the top calls in both the play actions, the keepers, quick game screens, blah, 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 all that stuff, and then get into some situational thought process for each third down window. All right, hey, what's the first call? What's your order of these third downs? Knowing that it could get tweaked a little bit in game based on what you're getting, but you try to go through a little bit of a process of how you're going to almost call it, or what he can anticipate to hear in some of those situations, so that when Sunday comes, it's not just like, whoa, I thought you said we were calling that play fourth, and now you're going to use it third. So it's just more so to get on the same page.
Go ahead.
I know we don't have time for all the good Tom Moore stories.
Oh, yeah.
But can you talk about his retirement and just your experience with him?
Yeah, so much respect for Tom Moore. To be doing it and do it as long as he's been a pioneer in offensive football, like the levels concepts in the pass game. So much that I learned from him, not even just last year. Like if you go back and watch their tape from all those years in Indy, everybody in the NFL now is running the levels concepts because of what they were doing. And how much freedom he gave the quarterback at the line of scrimmage, sometimes he was telling me like they'd have 3-4 calls, right? It was like run to pass, and Peyton was getting to those things based on the looks that he was being presented. And Tom had a great presentation to our players and coaches that he would do every year, and it was just talking about the 7 deadly sins of coaching and playing. I can't rattle them all off the top of my head right now, but it was just about, hey, keep the main thing, and teaching young players and young coaches how to kind of survive in this league. And I think that was really cool knowledge coming from him. Got a lot of respect and appreciate what he's done for our game.
You do it when you're 87?
Heck no. I don't know. If I'm fortunate enough to, right? I mean, Tom Moore is, all he's wanted to do is why he's done it this long is because he wants to help people. Like, that's it. There's no ego involved. There's no, I'm doing this for my accolades or for me or for any of those things. It's truly because he wants to teach and help. Bucky Irving was in his office every single day at 5:30 in the morning hanging out with Tom. I mean, if you're not helping mentor somebody and get somebody through their rookie year and be a part of success, I don't know what is. And so that's what Tom Moore is. That's what he's about. And that's what, you hope to take from him, guys like him that are really trying to help our game.
Foye has been on the field for well over 1,000 defensive snaps this season. How important has his consistent presence been out there for the growth of the defense and the excellence of the defense?
Yeah, critical. The communication, his understanding of the game plan. He takes the defense through a bunch of calls before we get to Sunday. They do multiple film session meetings that Foye's taking the guys through. Calls versus looks when they're watching tape, and they start to anticipate, some of those calls and what they can do within those roles and within those calls, and then the energy that he plays with on Sunday. And, you have so many of the clips that we show our guys of him, laughing, cackling on the field, just like hooting and hollering, having a blast. That's infectious. And the way that he continues to lead our group, the guy carries around tape in his pocket, like literally has a roll of tape in his pocket at all times. He just carries it around here, and he'll start taping something up before we go out to practice, and he's ready to go. So a bit of a throwback that way in the way that he prepares, the way that he plays on Sundays. It's really fun to watch him play football.
Brenton Strange said yesterday when he came back from the hip injury, he was healthy, but he wasn't right.
Yeah.
Where did you see him really turn a corner to get back to where he was?
I think obviously getting going against Arizona was nice, right? Like that first drive where he caught the big one that kind of got him in the game early. And that previous week of practice, I think that's maybe what he was referring to. Like, he definitely wasn't back yet. Like, he was back, but he wasn't feeling himself. And it took an extra week to get him really back to feeling better. And there was some frustration on his part during the course of that week of practice. And I think he just needed to get out there and get some of those cobwebs, kind of brushed off, get a little bit of the anxiety out, and just go play, because that's the type. He is 100 miles an hour every play. Like, that's the thing about Brenton is a lot of guys play this game probably at about 85 to 90% max velocity, I would think. I don't know if you're quite at 100 every single play for the entire season. Like, that would be probably really difficult to do. He's at 100% every single snap, every single play for the entire season. So, I think for him, there was frustration because he didn't feel like he could do that. And to see, though, how he's worked through it, to see the way that he's continued to impact and affect our offense in both the run and the pass. And he's got leadership qualities. He does. Like, he's not the most vocal all the time, but he's tough. And I think a lot of players respect tough. They see it. They know it when they see it. You don't have to say much to be tough. And that's something that he's continued to bring to our offense.
How important has Greg Newsome been for you guys in that room just since he's kind of settled?
Yeah. Greg, he's got a lot of confidence. He's seen a lot of football. He's smart. He's intentional with the way that he practices, the way that he tries to do things. there's been a lot of guys playing in the back end for us this year, and to see that room specifically settle in, get a little bit of that rotation that we've had with obviously Greg and Buster and Jarian, and then when Jordan was still playing healthy, him as well, and have no ego about it, right? Like everybody kind of point to DBs and wideouts as being your, I guess you call it divas, right? Or that's not on our team, but I do feel like that's a general consensus, right? That not this group. Like this group just, they've been extremely selfless with the way that they've gone about their business and the way that other guys have success. They're excited for, they appreciate each other. They've worked their asses off as a group to continue to get better. And I think that's showing up on Sunday, and Greg's a big part of that.
Easy to change or to guard against not changing your aggressiveness in terms of, like fourth down stuff and where or when you're going to let Cam try a field goal instead of a fourth down thing? Is it easy to kind of guard against that because points are such a premium?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, you're trying to win this game, right? And so you can't think about the next one. You can't think about what if or what could happen if we don't do. I think it's just, look, the flow of the game always kind of dictates what you're going to do from a decision-making process. You have a philosophy, you have something that you believe in, but the flow of the game is going to have to determine how aggressive we are in some of those moments. And is it a high-scoring game? Do we need every possession we can get? Is it one of those games that, look, we're stopping each other when points are hard to come by? This is what we may need to be more of a kick mindset here. So, like, I don't have any idea where we rank in terms of aggressiveness or anything like that. And for fourth downs, I know we've tried to be aggressive, but that's going to be a game time decision with that. We talk about it in our game management meeting tomorrow. A little bit of like John and Shane and I will talk through, okay, coin toss. We talk about the weather, right? We talk about the stadium, the kicking, their kicker versus our kicker. And then obviously the fourth downs, right? Like we talk about some of those. We talk about 2-point conversion situations, overtime rules. Now that we're in the playoffs, got communicated to our players and what our thought process will be regarding overtime and whether we're going to kick or receive. So we've had a lot of these conversations, and ultimately it comes down to trusting your gut and trusting the feel from in game and seeing what's happening.
Talked about guys never knowing when their number's called, keeping them engaged. For a guy like Walker Little, who's had, some rough patches over the course of the season, you've needed him the past couple weeks, might need him at a different position this week. How important is that coaching part, that managing the people part, to keep those guys engaged?
Yeah, look, we wouldn't be in the position we were at without Walker Little, right? Like without a lot of these guys that have obviously helped us get to where we are. And, he's been able to play multiple positions for us, be flexible with kind of that rotation, be able to step in, play right guard for us, play it at a pretty good click for us for a few games, never having really played it before, and then have to, potentially slide back over to left at times. Like, that's just the way it goes. And, I think that that's something that you appreciate in offensive linemen. Like, you appreciate the selflessness. You appreciate the team-first mentality, typically, of offensive linemen, because their number one job is to protect. Right, to protect the back, to protect the quarterback, and to protect this team and this organization. So when you have a selfless group that has a team-first mentality like Walker does and like the rest of that group does, it typically helps you succeed.
How have you seen the interior defensive linemen embrace what I think they know the assignment is this week and what the bread and butter of the Bills is?
Yeah. Look, I think those guys understand the task at hand. We showed them a good enough clips in my team meeting and the defensive meetings of their run game and what that can do, both when they, as an offensive line, get going and the techniques and fundamentals in which they try to use and things that we need to do to combat that. And also when we've got our opportunities to tackle the ball carriers, whether it's the backs or the quarterback, what that needs to look like in the way in which we need to play to get after those guys to do those things. And so, I think we're ready for the task at hand. Whether we, make every single tackle on Sunday, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, that's just a game. So it's more about the relentless effort, the relentless strain, whoop blocks, continue to play with that mindset and mentality up front, and good things will happen.